Okay, the guys that did not participate were Jair, A.J. Dillon, and J.J. Ngabari. Limited were Kenny Clark, Rashawn Gary, Elton Jenkins, Aaron Jones, Isaiah McDuffie, Keyshawn Nixon, Jonathan Owens, Jaden Reed, Darnell Savage, Preston Smith, and Christian Watson.
How's Jair doing?
He's doing better. He's just getting treatment, and hopefully we'll see where he's at tomorrow. We're gonna have some real reps tomorrow, and hopefully he'll be able to go.
Even when the season was starting with all the youth on both sides of the ball, y'all were never using the term rebuilding or anything like that. What gave y'all the confidence that y'all could continue to compete, contend the way y'all have, even with the team as young as this one was at the start of the season?
Yeah, I think as you got to be careful with terms like that. And it's just a mindset for me. It's just whether you got a young team, a veteran team, it really doesn't matter. All you're trying to do is continue to get better each and every day and focus on what's right in front of you. And I think that's where our focus has been, just trying to find different ways to push our guys. And our guys have shown up with a great mentality and mindset and willing to work. And I think that's why you've seen some progress with our football team.
What's the challenge for the 49ers and those receivers with Samuel and Ayuk?
Well, they got many challenges. They've got, first of all, you know how much respect I have for just their overall scheme, but you know, they do a great job of mixing and keeping you off balance in terms of their ability to run the football. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey, they got a great offensive line. Purdy has played at an MVP level. And then you have the receivers. Also, you have Kittle in there. So it's a well-balanced offense, and you got to do something to kind of take them off their game somehow, some way, and that's going to be our challenge.
Kind of correct that physicality is something that's the same, whether it's Kittle, whether it's Debo, whether it's McCaffrey. Those guys aren't going down at first contact a lot.
Yeah, they do a great job. They've got really multiple guys. There's at least 4 guys over there that can get yards after contact, and that's why I think it's so imperative that you have to swarm as a defense. You got to have multiple bodies in position to make tackles, and you truly have to gang tackle these guys because they do a great job of there was a great clip in the Philly game where Debo catches a 5-yard under route and he breaks I don't know how many tackles and he takes it 50 yards or whatever it was. So all those guys, though, collectively, they pose a great challenge on you.
Hey, man, you spent a lot of hours with Kyle. What are some of the benefits and maybe some of the hazards of that kind of knowledge?
Yeah, I think you know the philosophy behind the offense, but I think they've evolved. And they just do a great job of presenting a lot of different looks. Obviously, they use motions and shifts and double motions, and they do a great job of aligning guys, whether it's McCaffrey out at receiver or in the backfield or Debo receiver backfield. They use their receivers like tight ends at times. There's just a lot of layers to the offense. And so, I don't know how much we were together so long ago. I don't know how much I can really help our defense in that regard. You just got to play very sound defense. And you got to be so dialed in, all 11 on the same page every play because of just all the different eye candy they can give you and all the different ways that they can beat you.
For a first-round pick, it's kind of strange how little we've talked about Lucas Van Ness this season, but it seems like all he's done is had a pretty good year. What have you seen from him, especially late in the season, as far as his development? And it seems like he's kind of jumped to another level here.
Yeah, he certainly has. And I think the more you play, the more opportunity you get. You would like to think that most people get better, and I think he's done that. I think Reb's done a really good job with him. You know, it is a pretty crowded room when you have Preston and RG and then JJ, who we're certainly going to miss. But I think Van Ness has done a great job with the role that he's had, and hopefully, we'll have to lean on him a little bit more.
Yeah, Not having JJ now, you had a really solid four-man rotation. Is it just more on each of those three guys to step up and bring more now?
Well, without giving away the game plan totally, yeah, I think there is a little bit more that has to go on each of those guys, but certainly we do value and we feel like we have other guys that are capable of stepping in there and giving us some snaps.
Hey Matt, when you were going through your post-game speech and talking about everybody that contributed, you got to the offensive line, you pointed out they didn't give up any sacks. I mean, how have you seen that group kind of gel, especially when you think about the fact that you got two second-year guys as your bookends, which was not necessarily the plan going into the year?
Yeah, they've done a great job. I think we've seen growth from them every week. Certainly, they've gone against some pretty formidable fronts throughout the course of the season, and we got another one right in front of us. So we're going to have to continue to show that growth and improvement, and we got a great challenge that lies ahead.
When you talk about how it's not just Jordan, it's all 10 guys around him, how much has their improvement corresponded with him being able to do what he's been able to do the last night?
Oh, I think it's big. I think it's been a big reason why he's been able to do what he's been able to do. And one thing we always talk about is it's hard to throw when you're on your back. So for them to keep him clean, I think is and Jordan's done a great job too when it is a little bit dirty or muddy in the pocket of moving around. I thought our backs have done a great job of stepping in there. I can't tell you how many times Aaron Jones saved some potential disasters this last game. So it's always about the collective, though. All 11 doing their job so that each individual can perform at their best.
You've coached against Kyle quite a bit at this point. It's a growing sample size. What have you learned, good, bad, and different from prior experiences going against him, his scheme, that can be helpful this time?
Well, you better play your best when you and also you better buckle your chin strap because they're a very physical football team, and if you don't match that physicality, they'll run you right off the field. So that is a challenge for us. Like I said, I got a lot of respect for their play style, for their players, their coaches, and you have got to play your best in order to play one of the elite teams in the National Football League.
How's AJ Dillon trending this week?
He's, again, day to day. He didn't practice today, so.
We've gotten from Patrick and Emmanuel. I mean, love to have Aaron out there every snap, but what do you think those two guys have given you?
I think those guys have done a good job for the roles they've been giving. Obviously, PT's played a little bit more and throughout the course of the season, and certainly in some of those known passing situations going in there on the third downs, but he's also handled or taken a few carries as well. It was good to get him back and give him some carries last week. I think he'll learn from those and get better and better and better. He's a powerful back that's got really good speed. He just has limited experience, and I think the more we play him, the better he's going to get.
You talked about this team's will to win and get better that's kind of combated the young narrative. You know, what are some other positives you've seen as this team grows together in this experience?
I think that is the positive, that they're willing to work and they're willing to compete, and they want to continue to play. And we know we've got to play our best in order to keep that going. But these guys, I can't tell you, I've said it many times, just the energy, and that's a big part of this, just attacking it, wanting to be here on a daily basis and wanting to put in the work. Everybody wants to go and play on Sunday, but you have to be disciplined in your approach in terms of putting that work in Monday through Saturday in order to give yourself a chance to go out and play your best.
What did Baltimore do that was able to disrupt Brock Purdy's timing and rhythm back on Christmas?
Yeah, they got after him defensively, no question about it. They had a couple fortunate interceptions that were off batted balls, and they just harassed him in the pocket. They did a good job stopping the run, and then they built a lead.
I don't know if this is a thing or not inside the building, but you've been in San Francisco's role here quite a bit as that one seed, that getting the bye. This is a little more new for you, having a month of kind of being in that playoff mentality. Is there anything inside the building that feels different being in this role compared to where you've been as that kind of that favorite, that one seed?
I think every year feels a little bit different in terms of just the makeup of your team. But I would say just our guys have been in that mode. You know, we've been in playoff mode for, I don't know, it feels like for months now, but it's last 4 games especially. So it's the next game, and I don't think that's how we're approaching it. And we obviously understand what the consequences are at the end of this thing, but you know, it's just that next game mindset, and that's what these guys have approached it the right way.
You know, when coaches like to practice, obviously you want to be out on the field all the time, but you know, you've made that decision to do walkthroughs. Does that make you nervous? I mean, do you ever feel like, oh man, I don't know if we can cover everything, you know, not practicing?
Well, yeah, certainly you'd love to get the live speed reps, but I do think just kind of where we're at in terms of going out there and being physically the best you can be, being healthy for those situations so you're not beat up, so you're playing fast. And I think you can get a lot done with the walkthroughs, because in order to play fast, you got to know what to do. So it's not like we're shorting the reps, it's just how those reps are played. But yeah, obviously you'd always like to go full speed if you can. I think that's how you improve at your craft. It's hard to get better at playing football if you're not going full speed, but at the same time, you know, these guys have a lot of banked reps over the course of the season. I think, and I know this for a fact, that we've had more live reps this year than in any of my previous years. I mean, we've practiced these guys longer and harder than we ever have. And maybe that's why we've seen so much growth as well with our team throughout the course of the season.
I certainly understand the commitment to Anders, but has there been any thought to bringing in a veteran kicker to get through these extra points, which you guys have been missing?
No, we got a lot of confidence in him. One thing I love about him, yeah, you'd like him to make every kick, no doubt about it. But I think that's just, you know, it's part of the growth process. Is a lot of young, especially kickers, go through some trials and tribulations, unfortunately. And the one thing that's been so great that you cannot coach is just the resiliency he's shown. Because every time he misses one, he comes back and he's made them. So we'd like to get through it without any hiccups, but you know, again, I think it's part of the process. I think he's still learning how to refine his game, and there's still a lot more out there for him, obviously.
Again, I certainly understand the process part of it, but I mean, you know the margin of error in these games. I mean, one point can turn into 2-point conversions, and everything kind of goes askew there, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But we're committed to him, and we're going to see this thing through with him.
Matt, you see enough of Musgrave the last 2 weeks now that maybe you can give him more and more and get him more involved, and maybe put together that 12 personnel with him and Tucker more often than you have?
Yeah, we got a lot of good problems that we have on our hands in terms of, you know, Musgrave, Jaden Reed, all the other receivers, in terms of, do you want to go 12, 11, how much you want to play him. I think Tucker's done a great job, and he's earned some of those 11 snaps as well, so it's hard to want to take him off the field. So, like I said, it's a good problem to have. I think every game's going to feature different guys. And, you know, I think when you're going against a team like this, you got to be multiple.
Man, I don't know how much value you put in the passer rating formula. Jordan's was almost perfect on Sunday. I'm curious, when you went back and watched, though, no one's ever going to be perfect. How close was he to perfection in your eyes?
Well, I want to be honest with you, but a lot of those conversations take place in the meeting room. So I thought he played a really, really good football game. It's never going to be perfect. There's going to be little details here and there where, you know, whether it's hanging in the pocket, some decisions. But I'll tell you what, the guy made some massive plays in that game that kind of go off script, so to speak. And to me, that's where you see so much value in him. Obviously, I've talked a long time about that cover zero check he had. I thought a critical play in the game was the keeper that we ran to the left side. It kind of got messed up on the front side, and he hit Tucker on a 3rd and 1. There were so many great plays the 4th down throw to Romeo in that game. So again, I'm probably we're a little bit harder on everybody, so it's never going to be perfect, even if it is a perfect passer rating. But he definitely played winning football, and that's what you're looking for from your quarterback.
Matt, when you look at your previous playoff experience here, you had the bye week the first 3 times. That's the position the Niners are in now. What are the pros and cons to that week off? I know Kyle said he didn't want to rest everyone week 18, he rested a few. But from your perspective and experience, what are the pros and cons with that versus coming in hot like you are off bye?
I mean, there's a lot of pros and cons to it in terms of just being able to rest guys, but also I think as a coach, you always get a little concerned, are you going to get out of your rhythm? So, but bottom line is both teams got to strap it up and go play on Sunday or Saturday.